Hello, everybody. Ukulele here, wishing all of you a happy birthday to all who celebrate. This is a happy birthday tutorial on the ukulele, and we'll cover all the ways that you can play happy birthday, from playing the chords, the melody, and the chord melody. So we'll cover all of those details in this tutorial. Hope you enjoy. All right, let's start with something fun over here with the ukulele. Of course, we're used to playing chords on the uke, but I thought we'd kick it off with the melody of Happy Birthday. Now, if you want to review your strings, we know that when we start from our nose, our top string, that is the G. So we're going to play all the strings. We have the G, and we have the next string, the C, and the next string is E, and the bottom string is A. All right, now if your G doesn't sound like my G, that probably means you have a low G. Mine sounds like ding, 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 but yours might sound like ding, 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 or ding, ding, ding. That's right. That would be a low G, and that's okay. For this tutorial, every time I say G, you're going to find this note on the E string, 3rd fret on the E string, so that yours can sound like the note G. All right, so on the high G, that note actually sounds the same. All right, so what's nice about this playing the melody is we're going to look at it 2 ways. The first way is probably the easiest way, which is just looking at these letters and these numbers. So the beginning of Happy Birthday, da 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 da, is actually going to be open strings on my high G ukulele, starting with the high G, 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 and then we have the A string, which is the bottom string, A, and then to top string, G. So G, G, A, G. So try that with your thumb, G, G, A, G. And you'll see that all throughout this written notes over here, G, G, A, G. That's kind of how we're going to start these first 2 lines. G, G, A, G. All right, next we have A3 and A2. So what this means is we're going to go to the A string, and we're going to find the 3rd fret. So we're going to count those boxes. If you're used to putting your pointer on 1, your middle on 2, and your ring on 3, that will help you play this first part. 3, 2, 3, 2. You see that 3rd fret and the 2nd fret. So I'm going to find A3, A string 3rd fret, and A string 2nd fret. And that would be the end of my 2U. So G, G, A, G, and then we find 3 and 2. G, G, A, G, 3, 2. Try that out. All right, now we look ahead and we see that it's going to be the same, G, G, A, G. And now we're going to go to A5, down 2 frets from 3. That's 5, and then back to the 3. You'll also notice that A5 has a dot on it, so that's very good to remember that that dot, that's, 5 frets down, that's the 5 dot. So that's going to be A5, and then we're going to play A3. So now we do the same thing, G, G, A, G, 5, 3. Yeah, try that. That's right. All right, so now we put those 2 lines together. G, G, A, G, 3, 2. Ready, go. G, G, A, G, 3, 2. And now 5, 3. G, G, A, G, 5, 3. All right, this next part's fun. It's all on the A string. We get 2 Gs, and then we're going to find each of these notes. Now, as you get better at the ukulele, you can start using different fingers, but if you're just starting out, it's even nice just to use the pointer finger on each one of these. So you're going to find the 10, A10, which also has a dot, A10, A7, and then A3, that's kind of where we started, and then A2, and then open. All right, so follow along. We're going to play G, G, A10, G, G, A10, A7, and 3, 3, 2, and then A. And now we're going to play the end, which is all A string, A8, A7, 3, 5, 3. And see, we can practice looking at those dots. If you're looking for 8, well, 8 is 1 after 7. 7 also has a dot. So the dots will be your guide playing on this A string. So let's try with the intro now. The intro is the same as the outro. 8, 8, 7, 3, 5, 3. So now we find our 8. Ready? Go. 8, 8, 7, 3, 5, 3. G, G, A, G. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear such and such. Happy birthday to you. Let's see, we're able to play the melody of Happy Birthday just knowing our string names, G and A, and also our frets. And being able to find frets quickly is very important for the ukulele, and just know that the dots will be your guide. Now we're going to be reading this special way to read ukulele music, which is called tab. Tab uses lines and numbers, but the information is pretty much the same. So you'll see that we have at the beginning where it says intro, 8, 8, 7, 3, 5, 3, and it's on the top line. The top line of the tab refers to the A string. So it's kind of upside down. This is the A string. But one way I like to look at it is if I turn my ukulele towards myself, or I look flat, the A string kind of looks like it's the top of the screen or the top of the paper, just if I look at it like that. So that's one way to think of it. The other way to think of it is just that the A string is the top line, and the more I play along the A string, the more I'll just get comfortable with seeing that 8 on the top line and going, oh, that's the A string. So you'll see that where it says intro, you have 8, 8, 7, 3, 5, 3. We just read left to right, and we read all the notes that come along, and you'll see that we're playing the same music. Here you'll also see 2 sets of notes. If you're playing a high G ukulele, then you'll play the notes in the parentheses, which is 0 on the bottom of the paper or the screen. That's the G string. So where we were playing G, G, A, G, you'll see it going G, G, A, G on the paper. If you play low G, or you can also do this on any ukulele, you can find E3, E string, 3rd fret, and play that note, the 3. And that also works. That is E3, that's the same note as the note I'm playing here. All right, so it's important to look at that tab, and that will come in handy when we're going to the chord melody. All right, now for those of you who want to just play Happy Birthday, here are the chords for Happy Birthday. The C chord, of course, our favorite chord, and we're going to want to practice changing to G7, because at the end we're going to go C, C, G7, C. So that's going to be a quick transition. You're going to want to have that G7 down. So from C, we have our 3rd finger. Very good to have our 3rd finger for this chord, C. And then we're going to slide over 1 fret to the 2nd fret. Then we're going to make a triangle. We're going to put our pointer finger on E string 1st fret and our middle finger on C string 2nd fret. So notice it makes a little triangle. And what helps this chord too is a little tilt to the left. If I think of tilting my wrist a little bit towards the left or towards the headstock of my ukulele, my fingers actually line up really nicely with the G7. So if I'm kind of going like this, my fingers can feel cramped, but if I kind of open up and put my wrist here, it feels a little better. So now I have my C, I'm going to slide, and I swivel, and look, I have the G7 right there. So we want to practice this at the very beginning, C, C, G7, C. And And that's actually the intro section so that people can get their notes. La 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 la. La, happy birthday. And then go on to the G7. All right? So we have that transition to G7. And we're going to use that when we put the song all together. Okay? So now we're going to look at our next chord, the F chord. The F chord is going to use the fingers we're not using for C. So if I look at my C chord, ring finger on the bottom, I'm going to put my index finger on E1, E string first fret. I'm going to let go of that C, by the way. And then I'm going to add my middle finger on the top string, second fret. And that's my F. You'll see that in the picture there, that there's 2 fingers. But this is a nice bonus that if you want to, especially early in your ukulele career, you can actually play F most times with just your index finger on E1. This is really good for young learners too, to leave out the middle finger as it makes it a little simpler. You don't have to worry about bringing your middle finger to the top. You don't have to worry about touching other strings. That index finger on E1 sounds really nice. So that will be the middle of the song, C, and then F. See, I can do that with 1 finger, or I can do that with 2 fingers. All right, and now I can just walk through the song. So if I kind of give a scan of the song, actually I'll put up here in the chords that there's just, you strum each of these one at a time. So the first line, C, 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 G7. Then G7, 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 C. C, 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 F. And if you want to do the F twice, you can. And we end just like the beginning, C, C, G7, C. So as you play these kind of sets over and over, you'll find that, there's 4 lines to the song. And you'll get it. All right. So with the intro, C, C, G7, C. Ready, go. C, C, G7, C. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, and you can fill in the blank too. And 2 things that you could do to kind of spice up this song, especially if you're trying to get people more excited, is at that F chord in the middle, and also at the end, you can do kind of a roll. So we could try that on the F chord, 2 fingers. And when I roll, I'm using my index finger to strum, kind of strumming up here where it's soft versus here, which could be a little bit louder. I'm going to strum here, and I'm going to practice kind of strumming very lightly down and up. And when I go down, I'm using the middle of my index fingernail. I go up, I'm flicking towards myself, kind of this movement. I'm going to go like this, down and up. And now I'm going to go as fast as I can. And see, that combination of soft and fast is going to make a really nice sound. You want to be kind of relaxed when you do this. And you can do the same thing on C. So there's 2 points at which we're going to do this. We're going to go, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Right here. Happy birthday to right here. You. Yeah, great. All right, so we covered the melody, we covered the chords, and now the really fun part. In my opinion, one of the underrated ways to play the ukulele. I know a lot of people will strum and sing, but if you add this to your abilities on the ukulele, I find that I play my ukulele so much more once I've learned the art of chord melody, because you can take your ukulele everywhere. You don't need to sing. You can just play, different songs on your uke. this is all examples of chord melody where I'm not playing, I'm not singing, I'm not really strumming. I'm playing the chords and the melody at the same time, hence chord melody. Kind of makes sense there. So we're going to learn Happy Birthday as a chord melody. And what's nice is a lot of these chords are really simple, chords that you've already kind of played. Even in this tutorial, you've played these chords. And now we're going to do it all at the same time. So we're going to look at the intro because the intro shows us a couple of these simple chords. We're going to play 8, just like we did during the melody, 8 on the A string. But now we see this kind of stack. Now, if you're reading tab for the first time, a stack means that you're going to play all these notes at the same time. It's basically representing a chord. And we read it the same way we would read tab. We just read it all at the same time. So if we look at the bottom, 0, 0, 0, 7, that's going to start at our G, 0, 0, 0, and then 7. All right, so there's 0, 0, 0, 7. And that's a new kind of chord. We didn't even cover this chord. But the reason why we're doing it this way is because it sounds like the C chord, and it uses the 7, which is the melody of the song. So 8, 8. Then we have this new chord, 0, 0, 0, 0, 7. Then 0, 0, 0, 3. That's actually a normal chord. That's the C chord. Now this is one of my favorite chords, 0, 5, 3, 5. All right, it's kind of hard to hold at first. We're going to walk through it together. Ring finger on the bottom 5th fret. Index finger on the E string 3rd fret. Notice they're 2 frets away. Then middle finger on the C string 5th fret. And that is what that sounds like. And I call this big G7. So try that. Now, why do I call it big G7? First of all, this is a different version of G7. For those of you who strum and sing, this is a nice addition to your playing. If someone's already playing G7 here, you could play it here. And it's a big G7. Now notice, when I move to G7, it's actually the same fingers. And when we get to 5, 3, 5, we're just stretching out our fingers. So see, it's nice to practice both. If you're already good at chords, it's good for you to try to get to this 5, 3, 5 from the G7. But that's our big G7, and so now that we've read it, we've read all the stacks, playing this first part and the last part of the song becomes just one at a time. 8, 8, 0, 0, 0, 7, C chord, now the big G7, and back to C. And that's our intro. Yeah, very cool. So that's going to be the intro and the outro of the song, or not the outro, but the ending of the song. And one thing to kind of add to playing chord melody is if you can play the A string a little louder. And the way you practice this, if you go to 0, 0, 0, 7 and try to kind of take your thumb and drag it through. Notice that I'm kind of pulling the A string extra. One way you could do this is just play the A string by itself. And now just drag your thumb gently and then pluck that A. Kind of like you're rolling your hand through the grass and you pluck a flower. And a lot of times when we're doing chord melody, that's how we play. That helps the melody pop out even more. You want it to sound like this, but with the chords. And that's, a great way to kind of work on your tone is to try to pluck that A string more. So now we're going to go through the rest of the tune. And when you're doing chord melody, it's really nice to just look at the chords first so that you can process them quicker and kind of come up with your muscle memory on each of these new chords. And then fold the melody back in, which we covered earlier. So there's only a couple more chords to look at here. There is the O, 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 O. Nice. That's a good one. Then we have the 0212. I'm reading from the bottom. 0212. And if you think really closely, yes, that is just the standard G7. Now we have 0210. And all we do here is we release the ring finger. And I call this headless G7. It's like you have the triangle, but then you chop it off. It's violent. It's a very violent depiction of this chord. So you can practice that, releasing your ring finger, put it back. And now the last stretch here, where we get really high on our fretboard, just like the melody, we play in the 10 on the bottom, but we're strumming a chord. Now here's a bonus chord. We have 7 on the bottom, but we also have 6 on the E string. Yeah. So this is actually a C7. It's not really marked there, but this is a version of the C7 chord, which is really cool if you're playing funk. Someone's playing the low C7. You're going. Yeah, and there it is in Happy Birthday. It's like, happy birthday to you. That's what I would use for that version. All right, so that's what we're doing for that second to last chord. All right, and now we're going to get our F. All right, so now we want to look at all of those chords. We have the 10 on the bottom, new 6-7 chord. Then we have 2012. It looks kind of crazy, but within there, we have two things. We have the F chord, and we have the ring finger underneath. So that's probably the hardest chord to do. If you're feeling a little lazy, remember how we lifted our middle finger earlier? You could do that as well. Don't tell anybody. All right, so you could try that part. You want to try all those chords pretty much. Yeah, and then we end like we did at the very beginning. So now that we've found the chords, you can kind of reacclimate yourself to like looking where the melody is. But everything is just going to kind of play out as you read left to right. You're going to be able to process every part of this tab. Remember, when we see that 0 on the bottom line, we're playing the open G string. All right, so let's try it all together, the chord melody. G, G. Now instead of G, G, A, G, we're doing G, G, strum, G. Here we go. Ready? Go. G7. Now the headless G7 coming up. G, G. And then now 5. And strum a C. Good. We're getting all the way to 10. Find it. New chord. 3. And the F. And we end like the beginning. And there you go. That's Happy Birthday in many ways. If you learn any of these, you got a gig at the birthday party. And if you have someone's birthday coming up, make sure you play it for them. And you can also send this video to them as their birthday present along with their ukulele. Be like, this is happy birthday. Now go forth and learn ukulele. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yukon.